It has been a rough stretch of tempting banners, and March isn't going out quietly. Today we'll be talking about our second Emblem Ring hero, plus briefly cover the 11 other heroes on the banner. With the many powerful banners as of late, kinda not hard to guess, Intelligent Systems weren't gonna go for the finishing blow with one of the more popular lords of the franchise. Lo and behold, Emblem Ike is here to party. He will have his signature Ragnell, but this worries me for the rest of the emblems because just like in Engage, everyone has swords, and that's kind of a problem when you want some diversity. You would think the guy they went out of their way to give his secondary weapon type for that emblem mirror would get it in Fae, but I guess prepare for just another 10 sword emblems. Unrelated, but I'm still kind of salty that they put Ike in his Brave outfit in that early trailer and he just didn't wear it at all in Engage. Like, what's up with that? I just wanted to see 3D Brave Ike. I think it would have been cool. Now, let's talk about what engaging with Emblem Ike will grant a unit. Reminder, you can engage with literally any other unit type, and you can swap the emblems around at any time. It's an amazingly powerful feature, and you only need one copy of the emblem to do it. For Emblem Ike, his emblem effect is the same as Armored Flow or Beacon's unpierceable % damage reduction effect. If foe is ranged and unit or foe's special is ready, or has already triggered, they reduce the next attack by 40%. Once per combat, does not work against AoE specials. Ironically, if you engage Ike with a unit using Bonfire or Iceberg, then it's just a better version of Armored Beacon and Flow that any unit can use. Emblem Ike may create some weird situations, especially if you engage with units already using unpierceable defensive specials. It doesn't say you can't stack Emblem Ike with Armored Beacon or Flow. That's 64% DR against a special. Now, what about regular defensive specials like Aegis or Godlike Reflexes? Emblem Ike might be able to provide unpierceable % DR that works against Brave hits. If the first hit he takes is a regular attack, maybe Aegis can block it. If a second hit is a special trigger, then Emblem Ike's effect kicks in. So instead of stacking % DR for one blow, you spread it out over, say, when facing Brave attacks. Of course, a reminder that this type of % damage reduction only activates if a special is ready on either unit. There may be scenarios where it does not activate. Overall, a little hard to say how game-changing this Emblem Ring will be compared to, say, Emblem Art's Slaying effect. If you like tanks, obviously this is something to look at, but it does only work against ranged matchups. I'm curious how players are going to utilize Emblem Ike's ring. Let me know if you have any ideas or plans for it. As a unit, a small detail to take note of is that despite Ike being the Path of Radiance representative, Emblem Ike is listed down as Radiant Dawn. Maybe that's a mistake. Now, Engage Ike is basically the older buffer Radiant Dawn Ike in image, but still seems a little odd to me. Moving on, Emblem Ike is a sword infantry unit. Boy, we're gonna get a lot of these if they really don't deviate from the Sword Lord signatures. For stats, from the trailer, Ike had 41 HP, 47 attack, 18 speed, 45 defense, 42 res. For this ult, Ike is dropping all speed, joining his fellow Blessed Sword wielders. For ult skills, Ike has Defense Finish 4 and Conto Control 3. Only the second time Defense Finish has come around, and Conto Control will mess with mobile cows and flyers. For his weapon, Ike has the Emblem Ragnell. Emblem Art didn't have the Emblem Falchions, so I guess the naming guy just wasn't feeling it this time around. Emblem Ragnell is the simplest thing in Ike's kit, and accelerates specials plus distant counter, aka OG Ragnell's Refine. At start of combat, if Ike has more than 25% HP, he gains bonus attack and inflicts attack debuffs on the foe, based on 25% of the foe's attack stat at start of combat, -2. Ike then neutralizes all stat debuffs on himself, he gets no C disrupt, so he always counters back, and also has no guards, so he always charges special. Very easy to understand weapon. If you had trouble with Dual Winter Byleth, Emblem Ike is another unit immune to sweep effects with built-in distant counter. Ike neutralizing debuffs is excellent, and no guard will be great when he's getting beat up. For the attack debuffs and buffs, the foe needs 72 flat attack to max out the +16, -16 attack. From here on out, things get complicated. Great Aether took on Ike's Final Smash name, but this is indeed an implementation from Engage. First off, it's a 4 cooldown special that deals damage based on a percentage of Ike's attack. This amount is equal to the number of times Ike is attacked times 10 with a base 40%. Let's break this skill down part by part because there are like 4 separate effects. This first part is a basic offensive special, but with a new mechanic tracking how many times the foe is attacked. It starts at 40% attack, but if the foe were to quad Ike, Great Aether deals a massive 80% attack worth of damage. This damage portion synergizes with the second part. If Ike initiates combat, he instead lets the foe counterattack first. This is reverse vantage, similar to engage Ike's hammer. If the foe can perform a follow-up, Ike will let them make that follow-up immediately. Veterans should be familiar with this because this is essentially Brave Ike's Urvan Refine. He gives the enemy a free desperation effect. The catch is that this time, Emblem Ike gives the foe this ability even if he is initiating. Remember, the more hits Ike takes, the stronger Great Aether becomes when it does proc. In Engage, Great Aether doesn't let Ike counter for one turn, and Aether getting stronger as Ike takes hits could be a reference to his Rat skill. Now, for the third set of abilities, reduce damage from attacks by percentage equal to 40 minus the current special cooldown value times 10. If Ike takes consecutive hit attacks, instead reduce damage by percentage equal to 70 minus the current special value times 10. This is a neat modern take on Urvan's damage reduction effect. Urvan grants 40% damage reduction for the first attack and 80% for consecutive hits. The same idea applies here, however the percent DR is lowered the higher cooldown Great Aether is currently at. Another new mechanic, I believe. So let's say Great Aether is on 3 cooldown because of Slaying. The enemy's first attack is reduced by 40 minus 3 times 10. So 40 minus 30 leaves us with 10% damage reduction. That doesn't seem very good. Now, if the foe hits consecutively, which Great Aether actively encourages, then you instead get that higher 70% damage reduction starting point. For now, don't dwell on the numbers too much, but do note this is unpierceable percent DR. For the fourth set of effects, if Great Aether triggers, after combat deal 5 damage and inflict +1 cooldown on foes within 3 rows or 3 columns centered on Ike. Ike then heals HP equal to the number of foes in the same area times 5 with a base +10. This healing effect can only heal Ike for an amount equal to half his max HP. While Ike doesn't do a full AoE attack, he will deal 5 damage in a huge area and absorb that damage as healing. If Ike has 40 max HP, he can heal up to 20 HP at a time if he tags 2 enemies. I will admit, this is a pretty neat way to bring Emblem Ike back into Fae by calling back to Fae's Urvan skill set. You could argue Engage's Great Aether already references Urvan's effect of letting the enemy attack first. Ike endures the damage and then retaliates with Aether and heals back up. I didn't initially think of it that way, but that could explain the Brave Ike depiction from the Muro, and we know some of Engage's Emblem Ring skills directly pull from Fae's version of the units. Now, Ike's last new skill is Laguz Friend 4, which is inheritable and is also one of Emblem Ike's skills in Engage. In the main game, it activates when engaging with Ike. The unit will take 50% damage, but their avoid stat is now 0, meaning they always get hit. The Fae version seems a lot more complicated, but it does have parts of the original. First off, it always inflicts -5 attack on the foe. If the foe uses a 3 cooldown or higher offensive special, or they use any defensive special, reduce the unit's own percent DR skills by half. In exchange, reduce damage from the foe's attacks by 20% of the unit's defensive res, whichever is higher. They also get -2 cooldown before the foe's first attack during combat. Let's stop here. Big thing to note, Laguz Friend reduces your own percent DR skills, or you can think of it like giving the enemy half DR piercing. Percent damage reduction is the closest thing Fae has to actual dodging and hit rates, so reducing those skills is like always getting hit. The trade-off is you gain flat damage reduction, which cannot be pierced, and then -2 cooldown before the foe's attacks. Initially, I thought Laguz Friend was kinda like Gambit, where you want at least a 3 cooldown special. However, I think this is only true for offensive specials. I am placing my faith in that comma that you can run 1 or 2 cooldown defensive specials and gain all these effects. Flat DR plus your defensive specials percent DR with -2 cooldown before the foe attacks. I think you can see where that is going. As we move on, I want to mention that I don't believe this skill works with AoE specials. Not completely sure. You shouldn't use them anyway because they 100% do not work with the part 2. It's wordy, but basically for the second half, these are damage increases. If your 3 cooldown or higher special triggers, you deal bonus true damage equal to 20% of the greater of your defensive res, whichever is higher, and fully pierce enemy DR non-special skills. If I understand correctly, this is basically Special Sparrow 4, right? If you are using a defensive special, I believe you gain the same true damage plus DR pierce, but only for 1 hit. I'm pretty sure you get the DR pierce and true damage whenever the unit's first attack happens. You do not need to trigger the defensive special. If you attack first, you just get the effects right there. Laguz Friend is a very unique skill and will require some testing. I'm unsure if it will be its own new skill line, but we can assume Sword, Lance, and Axe Infantry will be able to inherit it. While Emblem Ike can use it in his own way, I do feel like it could be an interesting tool for defensive special builds. It clashes with percent DR skills, but specials are unaffected, and it adds a flat DR component to the percent DR. It also can charge the defensive special before the foe attacks, so it's almost a better shield pulse since it works every fight. Honestly, this could be something like a shield pulse 4. It isn't affected by a pulse tie, and Scout only works on offensive specials. Pair this with Emblem Ike's Ring plus a defensive special and, well, could be fun. At the same time, this is another DR piercing option for higher cooldown offensive special users. The -2 cooldown part doesn't really work for burst initiations, but it's totally fine for longer fights or if you just let the enemy initiate. Like Potent 4, Laguz Friend looks like a very interesting skill to keep an eye on. If I got something wrong, I'll make a pinned comment, but assuming I understood everything correctly, let's talk about Emblem Ike's game plan. How does he use Laguz Friend? Remember how Great Aether lets the foe attack first? Well, that means Ike gets that -2 cooldown. His slaying Great Aether is now on 1 cooldown, meaning its percent DR effect for that first hit goes up to 30%. That's unpierceable, plus you got Laguz Friend adding flat damage reduction, taking 20% of Ike's defense to res. Emblem Ike will still take a decent amount of damage on hit 1, but he summons his resolve. Like the sync skill of the same name, Ike gets tankier after the first hit. He lets the enemy use their follow-ups, but now Great Aether employs the higher percent DR effect. In addition, Ragnell has no guard, so taking the 1 hit now charges Great Aether guaranteed. A charged special means Great Aether's consecutive percent DR does not drop under 70%. 70% unpierceable DR plus the flat DR for all follow-up hits. If you cannot finish Ike off, he has Distant Counter plus NC Disrupt to guarantee an attack. The 2 hits are going to upgrade Great Aether's damage to 60% attack. Laguz Friend adds some true damage and DR piercing. Finish 4 adds more damage and healing. After combat, in that 3-row, 3-column range, you hit all foes with 5 damage and absorb that for healing. Rinse and repeat. For some other effects, Ike's just stacking tank stats and neutralizes any stat debuffs for consistency. Content control messes with mobile units. In any case where he's hit by a quad attack, Great Aether will now deal 80% of Ike's attack. Technically, if Potent is evolved, you should be able to get 90% attack as well. For the most part, Emblem Ike naturally has a riskier playstyle. He will let the enemy attack him with their full power, but if they cannot finish the job, he is coming back with that Wrath-empowered Great Aether. The main issue with this playstyle is Scout. If Great Aether does not trigger, Ike doesn't get DR piercing, and he won't get that larger heal after combat. Additionally, even if you initiate with Great Aether already charged, Ike still lets the foe go first. That might get him killed. As usual, fairly skeptical of tanking Dual Leon or Legendary Camila. Taking 30 plus damage immediately is not great, and Ike is weakest on that first hit taken. I guess we'll see how that goes. In terms of his Emblem Ring effect, I don't feel as compelled to summon for it like Mart's Slaying. It only affects ranged matchups, but will it become a problem stacking with other defensive specials? While I like Ike a lot, this kid is something. Let's move on. We're going to briefly talk about the 11 other heroes on the banner now. With Ike in red is Emblem and Legendary Elin. Blue is Legendary Female Byleth, Isidor, and Mycen. Green has Sather, Legendary Camila, and attuned to Nino. Colorless has Arvo, Tina, and Safy. Now we're talking about Ike, but if you want that new Laguz Friend B skill, you're going to need to summon for him. Defense Finish 4 is pretty rare as well, and then Content Control can be strong for lockdown. Can't really get 2 of these skills at the same time easily, and reminder, you need to actually have 1 Emblem Ike if you want to use this Engage Ring for engaging. Our next red unit is Mythic Emblem, Dark Mythic that boosts resistance. She's a flying red beast unit with higher speed. Her C skill inflicts undefended and feud on enemies so they cannot be protected by Savior and lose all outside ally support skills. Emblem herself can cleanse any penalties and gain the dodge status. Her weapon has Sling and inflicts debuffs based on the number of foes within a 3-row, 3-column range. She has no guard, and if there are 2 or more foes in that previously stated range, then Emblem gets defense in the follow-up plus guard. For skills, Beast Agility provides offense in the follow-up if you outspeed, and the tier 4 is on that new freebie, Ratatosker. Emblem then has the fun Attack and Speed Clash 4 for stats. Accompanying the new Ike is Legendary Elin. She's a flying sword unit with high offensive stats. Elin has a slaying Dophase Brave Sword that gets bonus attack and speed, no guard, and Conto 2. Her C skill has the Guidance for 2 Space Warp for all unit types, plus a 4 range Omni Rain debuff. Each turn, it provides Elincia and nearby allies the no follow-up status. With aerial maneuvers, Elincia herself gets to 2 space warp to allies, and a dive bomb effect works with no follow-up to allow instant quad attacks. She's still the only aerial maneuvers holder, and also has attack speed clash 4 for stats. Overall, not a bad red group if you want to try for Ike. Emblem's still the only source if undefended, and Elincia offers fun support plus her own daily initiations. Next in blue, legendary female Bonet. She's a blue infantry mage with good offensive stats. Bonet sees guts a self buff for 7 attack and speed, no follow-up and warp statuses. Her tome has sling, plus 5 stats, and full tempo effects. It also grants the incredibly rare tempo effects for allies within 2 spaces. I'm pretty sure this Bonet is the only way to get these tempo effects via support. For fodder, you can grab the rare Ruptured Skies special. She also has attack and speed ideal 4 and low speed and res 3. Next, Isidor is a Lance Cavalier with good attack and speed. She offers a supportive playstyle since her Lance grants plus 6 attack speed and defense, bonus doubler, and full penalty doubler to Isidor and an ally when she or that ally uses a movement assist or a rally. Isidor has attack and defense snag 4 for further debuffing support, and is the only unit with this skill. Keep in mind, she does not get another extra action like some of the other partial support units. Now, Guardian Lance will provide sling, plus 5 stats, full no follow-up, and 40% DR for personal combat. Isidor also comes with attack and speed clash 4. Myson is another Lance Cavalier, but a full no speed tank. Worldly Lance offers plus 6 defense res, field boss, and a low status. You can pair that with Joint Coast Guard for extra support. For personal combat, Myson gets sling, inflicts attack and defense debuffs, has a free follow-up, and has guard. Very simple standard tank perks with attack and defense clash 4 for those stats. Blue is an odd group since Bonet is a bit old comparatively, and generally people aren't chasing after 2 permanent full 5 stars. Still, there's some unique support effects on these units, and everyone has at least a couple solid skills to inherit. In the green group, Mythic Sather is back. Our book 7 freebie is a green mage Cav Asher Mythic that boosts attack. On odd turns, if Sather has higher res, she can stop foes from acting if they're lined up with her. However, the res check increases the farther away Sather is. She has Still Water and Chill Attack and Mystery to try and help in this endeavor. For her own combat, her tome has Sling, plus 5 stats, a free follow-up, and true damage based on res. It also provides a follow-up denial status to Sather and nearby allies. Now, a lot of people were expecting a green emblem hero since our latest returning legendary is Camila. Green Urvan Ike or Green Bolin would have worked. Now, this Camila is a very powerful unit, and we'll see if Emblem Ike can tank her assault. She's a high-powered flying green mage, and Dual Leon basically copied her skill set of incredible instant damage on the foe. Up to 40% of the foe's attack as unreducible damage. Camila then has Sling, plus 5 stats, bonus attack and speed, 30% DR, and 7 HP sustain. She also gets Kanto 1. From her B skill, Camila offers a support status for half DR piercing and inflicts speed and res debuffs with Sabotage. Camila gets offense and no follow-up and no guard from this skill as well. Emblem Ike is definitely a sign of things that we may see more of. Camila's DR piercing support does nothing against Ike's kit. Great Aether's % DR is unpierceable, and Laguz Friend is flat damage reduction. The question really comes down to is, can Ike survive after losing a chunk of HP from the instant damage? Now, to empower her assault, Camila comes with Remote Sparrow and Deadly Miasma. You can run Flared Sparrow, but it will clash with Deadly Miasma, so be aware of that. Overall, very strong attacker with a very powerful support perk. Until everyone's rocking a kit like Emblem Ike, being able to pierce % DR skills is still incredibly valuable. Last up, we got Attuned Nino, green infantry dagger with high offensive stats. Nino's C skill is a self buff for +1 movement with Kanto 1. She also gets -1 or -2 cooldown for her special. Her daggers do offer attack and speed field buffs to nearby allies. Nino then has Sling and a Blade Tome effect that can borrow buffs from allies within 3 spaces. Along with bonus attack, she actually gains half of that for speed, defense, and res as well. She then has 30% DR and 7 HP sustain, so this Nino isn't going down without a fight. This is further stacked with Fleeting Echo, an attuned skill that gives 30% DR for initiations, range units only. For other skills, Nino has Flash Sparrow for cooldown and Speed and Defense Tempo 4 for that sweet half DR pierce. Green, it's a very fun group thanks to Camila and Nino. We got a couple fairly rare skills here as well. In our colorless group, we start with Mythic Arvo, Animal Mythic that boosts resistance. Arvo is a colorless infantry mage. His tome has a guard ploy type effect and comes with Sling, +5 stats, true damage, and a follow-up denial. From Duality, Arvo gets a flat +9 attack and res, a free follow-up, and then triangle advantage against the 3 color types. That's pretty cool. For skills, you got attack and res tempo 3 and attack and res oath 4. Joining Arvo are two recent 5-star healers. Tina has the Thief Staff, which is a wild weapon. She literally steals the bonuses from the foe with the most status effects and gives it to her team nearby. Thief also has a -4 debuff range, similar to Crook's skills. Then for combat, Tina has Dazzling Staff, Slaying, bonus attack and speed, and gains true damage for every status active on her, up to 20 true damage. To deal full damage, she has Wrathful Tempo with attack and speed ideal for stats. Invisible for can help allies and Tina charge Holy Pressure. Last, you got Nudge Plus. Absolutely amazing healer with incredible fodder. Our other healer is Safy, who goes with a high attack and res spread. She has Stillwater 4 with attack and speed ploy 3 for debuffs. The Repair Staff has a recovery cleanse and heal every turn, plus a +4 drive stat buff for nearby allies. Safy then gets Wrathful Staff, Slaying, bonus stats, and a free follow-up attack. For her healer fodder, you got Return Plus and Holy Panic. Typically, permanent pole healers are not that exciting, but Tina and Safy offer great skills plus effects. If you want to deck out your new Arcane Charmer healers, this may be worth a chase, although Hortensia already has excellent fodder on her. She does not have any of the healer skills on Tina or Safy though, if you're looking for something different. That'll be it for this banner breakdown. They are not holding back with these emblem units, that's for sure. I kinda love that Emblem Ike basically has OG Ragnell's Refine plus Urvan's Refine with a swap to unperishable % damage reduction. Add in flat DR with Nelsie Disrupt, and we'll see how well Emblem Ike can tank these new souped up attackers. I also like the implementation of Great Aether. Maybe not as much instant bursts for those funny moves in Engage, but way larger AoE, and Ike can keep triggering the damage plus heal if he is attacked multiple times. Let me know your thoughts on Emblem Ike, and good luck if you're summoning. Personally, I am thinking of passing for now because I'm still recovering orbs, but I would like to get Ike in the future. I just got destroyed in the orb department for the past couple months. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.